Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So, romance school is back in session. This week for Romance 101, we are doing MC romance. So, let's school them on MC.
All right.
Okay.
What's an MC romance, Jessica? What does that even mean?
Well, I'll tell you. Hold on. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We do give away free books here. Okay. And follow us on Instagram. All linked down below. Okay.
And buy our book journals.
We will link the book journals too. I was just going to talk about them at the end, but I'll link the video. You guys can go see. We made new journals for recording your books for this year with the stuff that we love in them. So that is listed below as well. Okay, now that the commercial is over, let's talk about MC. I love MC. So here's my thoughts on MC. So an MC romance is where MC stands for Motorcycle Club. If you're new to MC romance, then that's what you need to know. MC stands for Motorcycle Club. They're not considered a motorcycle gang. They're considered a motorcycle club. And apparently that's a thing with all these books. So anyhow, they're supposed to be gritty. They're supposed to be dark. They have slang terms. If you can't handle them, then you definitely need to check the trigger warnings. And you probably shouldn't be reading MC if you can't handle the terms that are used for the women, such as old lady. Now, I would cry, but it's supposed to be, it's a term of honor in an MC, old lady. They're also pretty crass towards women. You've got women that are like the club. I hate calling them club sluts, but that's what they call them. They're the girls or the sweet butts. Some of them refer to them as sweet butts, which is a fancier way of saying that they're the girls that sleep with all the guys at the club. There's a lot of misogyny in these books. There's a lot of, dark elements in these books. Typically the female character, main character, is coming from the outside into the MC world. So she has a lot to learn. You do get other woman drama, which I live for. Okay. Some people don't.
So if the books do not have those elements and it's still being referred to as an MC, we refer to that more as Toys for Tots MC Club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a sliding scale here at Bestie Book Reviews, and we say Toys for Tots MC versus Hell's Angels MC. I need the Hell's Angels. So when I say Hell's Angels, let's think Sons of Anarchy. I need my scale to be over here because I do not do Toys for Tots MC. But we did come up with some recs that start off softer and get harder. Granted, I don't know how Toys for Tots they are. But
I think mine are all pretty much right there.
Yeah, mine are too. But let me just tell you guys, we will link our MC video. We do have an MC rec video below, and they can get worse. Trust me. But we did an MC video this past spring.
I don't have anything Toys for Totsy. These are all like diehard MC. You are getting baptized by fire if you read any of my recs.
Yeah, none of mine are Toys for Tots either. They're baptized by fire. So, and that's why we push this class towards the end, because we're getting darker now. So definitely check your trigger warnings. Let's get started.
Okay.
With me? Okay. So my first rec is going to be one of my this was one of my very first MC romances. And then it led me into even darker MC romance because it was so good. This is probably the tamest I have, and it is not tame at all. It just gets worse from here. Okay. So this is kind of somewhere in the middle. You do need to check your triggers for these. So this is called Reaper's Property, and it's by Joanna Wild. And I'm looking around because my book has gone missing with my notes in it. So this, like I said, was one of my very first MC romances, and I loved it. I don't need my book. I'm looking for notes, and I really don't need them. So this is about Horse and Marie. Yes, I said his name is Horse. So Joanna Wild actually has a note, a forward in the beginning of her book. And she says, I went and hung out with a whole bunch of MC groups, or MC clubs, which that's motorcycle clubs. I went and hung out with a bunch of MCs. And, you read these romances and these guys have names like Scar and Reaper and all these like really harsh road names, because that's their nickname. If you haven't read MC, these guys all have road names, which is their nicknames within the club. And when she went and hung out with an MC, she realized that she found out real quick that that's not what their names are like. One of the guys in her book's nickname road name is Picnic. And this guy's name is Horse. And they had like one of them is Blanket, or not Blanket. Painter. Painter is one of the other guys. And it's because something has happened when they were prospecting, which is when they are basically trying to prove their worth to be accepted into the MC. And that's where the MC will give them their name based on something like that. So Horse is named Horse for reasons we're reading romance you should know. Okay? Horse, as in hung like. Okay, so anyhow, Marie is getting out of an abusive marriage. She has gone back home to live with her brother, who is a tweaker. Her brother has been like getting into drugs. Now he's messing with this MC. He's running drugs for them. And so she works at a daycare, and she is a straight-laced, clean cut girl. And she's raised in a trailer park. And like, not like, today trailer parks are nice. Like this doesn't sound like a nice one. And she's going back to the trailer, and all of these guys are there on their motorcycles. And she's like, what is up with this? What have you gotten yourself into this time? And these guys keep coming around, and there's an attraction between her and Horse, and he does not hide the fact that he likes her. And so we fast forward a little bit after they've had these interactions, and the brother is getting in deeper and deeper, and he is starting to get in trouble with the MC because he's doing things he's not supposed to. Horse has come to Marie and said, I want you to be my old lady. And because, like any person who has no clue about MCs, because if a man came to me and said, I want you to be my old lady, I'd be like, what'd you just call me? And that's pretty much what she does. And she's like, no. And so the brother messes up. Horse comes and takes her and says, well, you're not going to be my old lady. You're going to be my hoe. And I'm going to take you, and I'm going to keep you, and you're my prisoner, and you are going to service me. And he learns quickly who rules the roost. But anyhow, so he takes her to the MC, and then the story moves forward from there. I know it sounds bad. It sounds horrible. But trust me, he really does love her. He really does. He's just trying to get her to agree. So this was a whole series. It was my first one. It threw me in, and then it just kept spiraling. So I love a good MC. They just have to be done right. They can't be fluffy. I mean,
agreed.
MC by Jessica. They can't be fluffy.
Agreed.
So, and you agree. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What's your first rec?
Well, I mean, it's a whole nother trope then.
Yes.
If we're fluffy.
It's Toys for Tots MC.
And that's just not why you read MC.
They're supposed to be dark and gritty and dirty. And the darker they are and the grittier they are, the better they are.
So I'm going to jump right in.
Yes, do that.
With Knight's Corruption.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one. It's one of probably my favorites. So this is dark. There's a lot of abuse. So I think we already said this, but I'm going to reiterate it one more time. Check triggers, because these books do usually go down some pretty dark roads, and this series does. So this is about Cole Merrick, and I didn't even tell you the name of the book. I just got so excited. It's Merrick by S. Nelson. And his name is Cole Merrick. He is the president, and he kidnaps Sully, who is the rival club's president's daughter. She has been horribly abused by the hands of her father and the people in this club. When she was 14, she was given by her dad to a guy to be his whatever, and he's awful to her. She's been horribly abused here. So Merrick kidnaps her, brings her back to his compound, marries her, and just decides to kind of go on about his normal ways without really any regard to her, because he feels like he's really getting back at the club. But little does he know, he's actually saved her from a horrible, horrible situation. And he slowly starts to fall for her a little bit, which then starts to make him very angry about what has happened to her. And it makes him very possessive over her. So this is a big character change for him because, as Jessica talked about, what the guys at the MC, are used to doing is very different. So he has some things to work through there to figure out how to kind of make this work. But he loves fiercely.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole series is really good. You have to start with the first book because there's a bigger underlying issue that's worked through as you go through the whole series. But it is phenomenal if you
Yeah.
like this kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. So my next MC actually combines military romance and MC romance, and that is Road to Nowhere by M. Robinson. So this is definitely age gap as well, and brother's best friend. It just gives it to you you get all of it in this one. So this one is very angsty. There's a lot of turmoil. Yeah, it's just and it's gritty. This is a duet, so there are 2 books. This one is on a cliffhanger, and then you go into the second one. Both are out. Both have audio. Go read them. So this is about Creed and Mia. So Creed has been raised. God damn thumb. Creed has been raised and groomed to be the president of the MC by his father. It's him and his 2 brothers. And when he's 18, he meets Mia. Mia is 9 at the. I'm gonna put the book down, otherwise that's gonna keep happening. Mia is 9 at the time, and Mia is the little sister to his best friend. And so they meet up every year. He ends up running into her on her birthday. I think they share a birthday, if I remember right. It's been a few years since I read this, but every year he ends up meeting up with her on her birthday. And then 9/11 happens. Because we start with the past, we move forward. So 9/11 happens, and because of circumstances that happen on 9/11, he joins the Marines and he goes off to fight for his country. And then a handful of years later, he comes back. Mia is 17. Now, Mia has always been in love with him, and she is determined to make him love her. And she goes about that in some very questionable ways. But he does have feelings for her, but there's this huge age gap, and it is a no-no. Plus, he's MC, and her brother's going to murder him. And so there is all that angst and that turmoil, and she makes some decisions that are not good that affect both of them. And it just, it just snowballs. It just snowballs. So we have the military because he runs off and he is in the military and he is a Marine. But when he comes back, he is the president, or he comes back to be the president, or he just quickly after that becomes the president of the MC. And so you have that. And she is a princess. Her parents own a diner. She has nothing to do with the MC world. So there you have it.
Okay.
And you like M. Robinson. You haven't read this one yet, though.
No, I haven't.
All right. Okay.
So my next one, Jessica and I actually got in an argument once on a video. So my next book is book number 2 in Gianna Darling's series. I started with Welcome to the Dark Side, and she just released is it the 5th book in the series, or is it further?
I think it's like the 7th.
Oh, is it? Okay. So she took a break from the series and she just released another book, and everybody's very excited about this one. So I loved this book. So it's called Welcome to the Dark Side. This is a fantastic age gap romance. There are no major time jumps where I hate age gap romance where the couple is together and then they break up and then 10 years later they get back together. Don't like that. So this does not have this. So you are welcome. So this is about Zeus. He is 19 years older than Lou, and he saves her when how old was she? 6 or 7, I think.
She was pretty young.
And she is walking into a church event, I think, with her dad, who is the mayor, and there is a shootout with this MC club with this these MC rival groups. They have a shootout, and he grabs her and runs, and he actually gets shot doing this while her dad hides. He doesn't protect his daughter. He hides and leaves her. And so Zeus saves her. They end up in the hospital together, and she has a nurse that's very kind and takes care of her because her parents really can't be bothered. And she goes and sneaks out and finds him. And she is just instantly like drawn to him, even though she's very little. He goes to prison for the shootout, and she ends up in the hospital again with leukemia. And from there, she writes to him in prison. And at first, he doesn't want to write her back because he's kind of weirded out by that. But he decides to kind of extend her this courtesy because he feels bad for her because he knows that she's alone basically. And so they write back and forth and are pen pals. Honestly, the whole book could have just been them writing back and forth and I would have been there for it. I loved that part. So then we have a slight time jump of like them progressing to present day. So that is the time jump, but it's not a breakup in their relationship time jump. So now Zeus is out and she sees him and she is instantly attracted to him, wants him, and is like all in. I absolutely love this book so much. Side note, read this book knowing it's fiction, knowing if you were watching this happen in real life, your compass, your moral compass would probably be like, no. But in the book, just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Loved
So
it.
nothing. He writes her when he's writing his other children. He has kids her age. So in the
Yes.
beginning, it's very innocent, and she pushes the relationship. She's when he gets out, she's what 17,
Mm-hmm.
and she pushes it. Granted, he is the adult. We know that, but it's an age gap. It's a thing. But when she's little, nothing happens. It's
No,
not like
it's
that
not. They don't
at all.
even see each other. They're
No,
just
no,
pen
it's
pals.
years. He's in prison for years and years and years. And she gets sick again. And like there's all these things that happen. So yeah, they're just pen pals. Nothing like that. He's her protector, is how she looks at him when she's little.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay. So then the next rec that I have is called Ravage by Jessica Ames. This is the first book in her series. It's the Untamed Sons MC. And I haven't continued on. I want to. I actually have it on my in my wish list. I just haven't continued on yet. So this is about Ravage and Sasha. Ravage is the president of the MC. He and Sasha were together a handful of years before, and he went off on a run and he came home and his woman was gone. And they'd been together for years. And he doesn't know where she ran off to. And now we're in present day, and Sasha has returned. This takes place in the UK. So Sasha has returned to London, and she had no choice. She had to come because her little girl, who's she's 3 years old, 2 years old, little girl has, again, leukemia. And this is the only hospital, it's the best hospital to treat her. So she has been on the run for all these years, of these 3 years. And now she has no choice but to be back in town with her little one. And she gets tested. She is not a match to her daughter. Or she's a small match, but not enough for a bone marrow transplant where they feel like it's going to actually do something. So she has no choice but to walk into this compound, walk up to their front door and be like, I need you to get tested for my daughter. Oh, and by the way, I need your brother to get tested also because he could be her father. And that's all I'm going to tell you.
Well, that could make Thanksgiving dinner interesting.
And it's not always, I mean, you have to read the book. There's just so much more that comes out. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. My next book is called Outlaws Promise by Helena Newberry. And this is part of the O'Hara Brothers series, but the O'Hara Brothers are all kind of doing their own thing. So this is the specific MC book. So this is about Annabelle, and when she is 8, Irish, which is his nickname, crashes his motorcycle. I think he's only 17 at the time, and he's trying to get into this motorcycle gang. And he crashes his bike running from somebody, and he can't move. And she sees this all happen. So oops, I brought you back. Sorry.
Yeah.
She goes out there and like helps get him to safety, helps hide him, and saves his life. And so he makes a promise to her that if she ever needs anything, to call him and he will be there for her. Well, she lives in a pretty shitty situation. Let's just be honest. And she's older now. I think she's like 20-ish or so. Her mom has died and she lives with her stepdad who is just up to no good. And she ends up getting taken by another club, basically given to another club, who then decides to sell her. And so she is standing up there being auctioned off and she makes a run for it and she calls him and he comes because he's never forgotten what she did for him all those years ago. And he gets there and he takes her, he saves her, but now she's on the run from this mysterious person who organizes this whole thing. So, like the MC club that is, or the MC, I always want to say MC club, the M club. Anyway, they are just kind of like the place where the auction happens, but they're not in charge of everything. There's like this mysterious player who is now ticked that she is missing because that was, money in his pocket. And so Irish has got to try and protect her and figure out who this is and how all this is going to unravel. It is really good. It's suspenseful. I really enjoyed it. There's definitely that age gap to it. But yeah, it's good.
Okay. So then my next book is Birdie Biker by Misty Walker. This is the first book in her Royal Bastards MC group or MC series. I've read 3 of these books in the series, and there's 5 in this one, and she's just started a new series, and I'm here for it. I love her MCs. This is probably one of the more tamer of the ones that she has because they can get dark pretty quickly. By the way, I love this cover. I do. Good job, cover to cover book box. I do love the cover. Okay, so this is about Birdie and Loki. So Birdie, whose actual name is Bridget, they end up calling her Birdie, but she is her dad is a very influential man in their town, and I can't remember exactly what he was, but he was very influential, and he's done some stupid stuff, and he's gotten himself into some trouble, and he's gone to the MC to help protect his daughter. And so, for whatever reason, there's money involved, there's things going on. They agree to protect his daughter. There's a shootout, dad gets shot. The MC takes Birdie because their job is to protect her. They really are just trying to protect her. But they take her to the compound, and that is where her and Loki start up their situation. Loki is definitely a Dom, and there's definitely some weird things that happen in here, but there's someone out to get her, and this MC is here to protect her, but yet they're an MC and they've got all sorts of stuff happening in there. So starts off the series. It's a great series. Have at it.
Okay. So my next book is the book that I really liked, but I also really hated.
I know what you're talking about. It was so good. 5 stars. It was awesome.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is a hard one to talk about without giving
I
any
know it's very hard.
spoilers away. So maybe I'll just stay here for this. This is
Yeah.
Lost Soul by Emma Creed. This is about Haley and Jesse. They are step siblings, but not like it's not a happy home.
No. And they weren't really, they were around each other, but not because she kept separate with her mom.
Yes. So but they're technically not even really step siblings. Like she was raised by her mom away from the MC club.
Mm-hmm.
She sees her dad every once in a while. And when she is younger, 10ish, 8 or 10, I think, her dad just shows up and drops off Jesse and asks the mom to like basically raise him. So that's kind of where it starts. But he's gone a lot. Dad takes him a lot to go do MC stuff with him. So he's kind of in and out. And they have a friendship and a bond. And she is in love with him. But he likes someone else. And so she decides to try and help him,
While pining for it
hoping
at the same time.
that it will backfire and then he'll realize he wants her.
Yeah.
It's very emotional.
There.
It's angsty.
Yeah.
You will hate the book. You will love the
No.
book.
You'll love it.
It's definitely got some grittier sides.
Yes.
So, Lost Souls,
Yeah.
Emma
And
Creed.
and he was a step sibling because his parents, or his dad at least, was a part of the MC and he was killed. And so
Yes.
the parents don't, he basically like an adopted sibling.
Yes.
He was a ward. He came to live with them. So
Yes.
there's no blood. We'll put it that way. There's no blood.
No.
So you can stay on for my last rec because this is our book. This is our book. If you guys don't read any MC, this is the MC to read right here. 9 minutes by Beth Flynn. I can guarantee this will be one of our, if not our top book of the year, at least together, combined it is. Mandy's just gonna take a nap on hers apparently. This book. So I picked it up and I read the prologue. And I do not cry in books, but I was an absolute mess. And I called Mandy and I was like, oh my gosh, this book, you have to pick it up. She did. And we continued to read it together after she lost her shit in the prologue. So
it's a trilogy.
It is a trilogy. It is dark. It is amazing. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of this stuff, there's the spice is very low in this. We get a lot of closed door scenes, or things start and then the door closes kind of situation. So a lot of things are alluded to, but it is dark. So this is about
dark is an understatement, but it is an emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah, like I was camping and we were having to drive into the nearest town where I had cell reception to call Mandy to discuss the book. My poor husband had to sit there and listen to us go, how far are you? Has this happened yet? Oh my God. Like that was our weekend for all 3 books. I devoured them. I actually made him drive in so I could download the next book because I thought it had downloaded and it hadn't. It was a thing. Anyhow, this is about Kit.
It was a crisis.
Or Jenny. Her name's Jenny and Grizz. They eventually call her Kit. And when she is she 15, 16? 15. Very young.
Mm-hmm.
15. She is abducted by a MC member. This takes place in 1975. So, no cell phones, whatever. She's abducted from outside like a 7-Eleven by
a convenience store. Yeah.
A convenience store by a
she doesn't realize she's getting abducted.
She thinks her parents sent them to pick her up.
She's just getting a ride home.
She was getting a ride home. But it's by another MC member that belongs to this MC. And he brings her home. And she is a gift to the president, who is Grace. And yeah. And it just... So it is captive.
There's so much happening in this book. Get a friend to read it with you for a support group. If you don't have somebody to read it with you, message us. But like every 10 pages, you'll be going, what? No. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I mean, and I've said I don't cry during romances, and I've talked about this before. I think it was the end of book 2. I was outside the trailer making dinner, and the screen door was open. It was pouring down rain that weekend. The screen door was open, and I was bent over holding onto my knees going, oh my gosh. And my husband was like, what is wrong with you? This book. Like, I was just, yeah. I read the prologue and I was like, no, I do not accept it. And we were coming up with all these theories, and trust, we're here for you. Just, we'll help you. We'll help you.
Oh,
we'll help
so
you.
good.
So good. So that's my 5. What's your last one?
Okay, my last one is probably, I would say maybe the grittiest, just based on Daddy Deuce's behavior.
Okay.
He's not really a good man a lot of the book.
It happens. That's why.
So
they're the bad boys.
This is Undeniable by Madeline Sheehan.
Yes. Sheehan.
This is about Deuce and Eva. There's an 18-year age gap. Yay. So they meet when Eva is only 5 years old. Eva's dad is a sort of rival club's MC president, but the presidents are kind of friends and there's connections. They see each other, but they're kind of rivals too, if that makes sense. So we're not on great terms, but we're not on bad terms. And they keep having like these just random encounters. And then when Eva is 16 and Deuce is 34, that's when their sporadic meetings kind of stop and things really start to heat up between the two of them. So she is underage. This is very raw. It's a very edgy read. And Deuce doesn't treat her very well. Like, he lives up to the things that Jessica was talking about at the beginning of the book for MC. He has like those club whores and he doesn't really respect women that well. And oh my gosh, I was so mad at him, but then I loved him and then I was mad at him. And there's angst in this. And so if you are ready for, like I said, a raw, edgy book that's in the MC world that is really going to kind of test those limits, and your hero is not going to be the hero you're used to seeing, this is the book to read. It's really good. But if those things are going to make you angry and you're not going to like it, just skip this book, because it is really good. But oh my gosh, there were times where I'm like, why am I reading this book? But
Yeah,
oh,
see,
I
here's the
love it
deal.
when an
These
author
guys-
can give me those emotions.
Yeah, these guys are not white knights riding up on their beautiful white stallion. They're MC. They're riding in on their Harley, and they're not nice. They're not. So, Okay, guys. So that is what we have for MC. Yay! It's just gonna get darker. What's next week? Dark progression.
Next week is post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic. Next week is post-apocalyptic, which is I love post-apocalyptic. So we're gonna have fun with that one.
Yes. So your homework is to try an MC book. Let us know what your thoughts are on MC and how it goes. Make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and for the rest of 2023 on Wednesdays. So we only have 2 classes left for you.
Yeah.
So check back for that as well. Hit that subscribe button.
All right, guys. So thanks for watching. Class dismissed, and we'll see you in the next video.